3:53 p.m. June 28th, 2025. I put it down here too. June 28th, 2025. I actually wrote a little list here because normally I don't anymore. I just remember what I need to say and keep it to a few subjects. Sometimes I stray off, but I wrote down a few things that I want to get out today on this video. Number one, it's indicated I don't know that sound and light and microwave, etc., can be propagated through a vacuum. I know that they are not listening to what I said about my theory that when it's in a vacuum outside of the ether, as I said, the ether dissipates as it gets further away from centers of mass. So I've always assumed that there's areas that are behaving like a vacuum out in outer space yet. I admit that. It's just they're not listening to what I said. Inside where there's the ether, close to centers of mass such as Earth, the photon would be propagated through an ether of no momentum photons by transferring energy from one photon to the next. I'm at Yoder's Amish store parking lot. I was here earlier, and I'll explain why I came back in a little bit. But this is the farm across the way. But when the photon originates in the ether close to the surface of the Earth and is going outward, and the photon escapes our atmosphere, continues to travel outside of our atmosphere, and eventually escapes the ether. So it's no longer transferring its momentum from one no momentum photon to the next. Now it is out in a vacuum, and it is hurtling through space, which I proposed before. That's how light travels, is that the particle is rotating as it is hurtled through space, and then since it's off balance, is not a solid object, and not a uniform object, it is wobbling, and that is what is causing the waves. It's actually traveling in a wave form because it is wobbling as it is propagated in one direction. So yes, all of these things can travel through the vacuum, but then as it goes through that vacuum, eventually it finds another center of mass, or it loses enough energy where it becomes a no momentum photon. If it travels far enough over an average distance of space, it goes through enough dust and gravitational fields in order to slow down that particle enough that it becomes a no momentum photon. So yes, all of these particles, all these photons can travel through a vacuum, and as I proposed before, it is a small mass particle that is propagated through space and is hurtling through space, basically, in a wave form. And as it slows down, it goes from the light spectrum and then falls down into the microwave spectrum. It's the same particle, but it was a light wave particle, and now it is a microwave particle, and then it is an infrared particle, and then eventually it becomes a no momentum photon with a very tiny mass that cannot be detected because we don't have any detectors that have components that are smaller than a photon, so that's why they cannot be detected. That's why a mass of a photon cannot be detected, nor determined, nor proven that it has a mass or doesn't have a mass, but it makes more sense that it has a mass the way things behave, because my theory that the ether is made of no momentum photons solves all the aspects of the two-slit experiment, and the other problems in physics I explained earlier. Okay, I'll go to the next subject, Texas license plates. The last few days, ton of Texas license plates in Iowa, around where I'm at. What I believe has happened over the last few years is Texas frauds have made places in Iowa look like they're in Texas. By driving around in Iowa with other people from Texas up here and meeting each other in places that are actually in Iowa, and they're, making it look like they're in Texas. And the reason they'd be doing this is because I'm in Iowa, and they want to make it, the criminal thieves that steal my valuable stones want to make it look like it's in Texas, things like that. So a blue Chevy pickup pulled up beside me at about 2:45 p.m. today in Fontana Park. It was all Mexicans in the pickup. It was Texas plates, so I took off immediately because of what I just explained to you. They're trying to make it look like we're in Texas. So whoever those Mexicans are, please arrest them. They are part of the criminal network of thieves stealing my valuable stones. I'm certain of it. So again, this is for youtube.com/@WADEALANHEINEMN. Just talked about the blue Chevy pickup with Mexicans, Texas license plates in Fontana Park in Hazleton, Iowa at 2:45 p.m. today, June 28th, 2025. Again, it's approximately about 4 p.m. now. I just wrote this a few minutes ago, 3:53 p.m. on the paper here. And I've still not worked for anyone since 2018, no boss, and I've never had an employee. I've not met my 27-year-old Filipina girlfriend in person yet. And let me show my 10.7-inch hand again so you can verify identity. And anybody that claims to be Wade Allen Heineman, I've been posting on all my social media in the last 6 years, at least, that my hand is 10.7 inches long. So measure it. If it's not 10.7 inches, is not Wade Allen Heineman. If they're wearing sunglasses, highly suspicious, because I haven't worn any since 2019, if they claim to be me. So that was the Texas plates. Oh, and there's a Bryan Heavy Equipment in Owine, Iowa, and there's also one in Dallas, Texas, or there was. It looks like they closed it now. But across from the Bryan Heavy Equipment, this is construction equipment they were leasing out in Owine, there is a dance studio like for kids across from that Bryan Heavy Equipment. These are both fairly new buildings, and I think there might have been something to do with making Iowa look like Texas in that too. The Bryan Heavy Equipment in Owine and Dallas, there was only 2 offices, one in Owine and one in Dallas at one time. And then across from the Owine office, there was this dance center for kids there. I had never had any association with either of those businesses or been to any of those dance things or anything that's been indicated dancing or whatever. Don't know what it means, but I just have a feeling that has something to do with portraying Iowa to look like Texas. I left around 9 a.m. today from half mile north of Fairbank, Iowa on V68. And this is just a cardboard piece of paper that I have here. And reposting, deleting. As I said many times, since Elon Musk bought Twitter in 2022, I have to delete and repost many of my posts, which means I have to rewrite them, repost them, and then delete the post that I posted first. So it looks like I wrote the post after, minutes or even sometimes hours after, when I notice that there's been a misspelling, because after Musk bought Twitter in 2022, many of my posts are altered after I hit post. After I click for posting it, the digital alterations happen after that. And then sometimes I don't notice it right away. So it could be a matter of under a minute that I get it corrected, or it could be a matter of hours. Even sometimes the next day I notice it. So less often is that the case. But whoever is trying to, rip off my posts, everything I've ever written on X, Twitter, YouTube, anything, anywhere that I've ever written is not stolen. It is anyone claiming I stole their posts. They are what do they call it? Trolling me, and then probably with AI now, and stealing my posts, and then claiming it as their own or whatever they're doing. I don't do that. I never have. I don't know who any of these people are. They're criminal fraud thieves. They're worthless. And then I have last described the poem I just wrote. I described the poem I just wrote to my mother when I gave her a bougainvillea plant from Detweiler's greenhouse, which is just to the south of me here, where I'm at now at Yoder's Discount Grocery. You can see the sign there, right there. And then I got the bougainvillea and brought it over to my mother for a late Mother's Day present. I described her the poem I wrote today. People don't understand, in my PTSD and my frustration and anger and the ugliness of my words sometimes, it's because I cannot participate in society. I cannot participate in what everyone else can, because of all the stage lies prevent me from being understood as who I am, and it trips my PTSD when people think I'm anything other than what I am. When they stage lies that I'm gay, LGBTQIA, transgender, or female, that is a major, major tripping of my PTSD, and it will never change. It will always cause PTSD. It will always cause major PTSD. I can't participate in society when I'm angry or I'm triggered with PTSD every day. And that's the case when they try to portray me as transgender, female, and that will always be the case. Every time that happens, it's happening, and it gets worse, actually, over the years. So their pain they're causing me with the PTSD is worse and worse every year that they portray me as female, transgender, gay, or somehow LGBTQ plus, queer, or whatever their lies are. It's very painful. It's very much makes me not be able to live a life. And the poem was about isolation, and I've heard many times that people in prison say that isolation is the worst punishment that they have had to deal with. And that's what they do in prisons, is they put you in isolation treatment for the people that do the worst things. And I'm isolated from society because of all the stage lies. And because they happen so often, I never get a chance to normalize, my interactions with people. And then that feeds into them thinking I'm a robot or somebody's, dog, or whoever's claiming I do their work for them. The criminal maggots claim I work for them or do their work or find rocks for them when they're stealing them out of my vehicle as I fall asleep. Since March 2024, they've broken into my vehicle 41 or 42 times for sure. I can't even remember now. Did I say 42 now? I thought it was 42. But again, once in a while I'm going to be wrong about things I think are stolen, because so many things have been stolen from me. And they have broken into my vehicle at least 41 times since March of 2020. Don't know who that guy is. Big white guy in his white Ford Explorer. Probably saw him in the video, so I don't know who he is. x.com/WADES2ND is me. And, you know, it's just, the poem ends by saying, you know, how did I put that at the end of that poem? No. I never remember my poems word for word. I remember what I wrote in them because I'm not into memorizing things, really. Unless I'm singing a song, and I'm not very good at that. So not good at memorizing the lyrics word for word. Yeah, it's just that all the lies about me, all the stage lies, the misperceptions due to surveillance being incorrect, all distorts my life. And I can't live in society when everything about me is distorted and causes PTSD every day. And I'm living, my interaction with people is PTSD interaction. And in these rotten radio Christians trying to reduce it to anxiety. I have full-blown PTSD. Either, if you're going to try and compare anything I have, do not minimize it to anxiety when I have full-blown PTSD, or you're going to get my full verbal wrath. It's people don't understand that a lot of that, my PTSD and the ugliness of my words comes directly from that. My frustration that I cannot live, my social soul dies. You have kind of a soul with other people, and I can't have that because of what they do with stage lies. It's very painful. It is very painful to be cut off and then be, on top of that, misunderstood, vastly misunderstood, as I try to go out and have interactions with people, and they're basing their opinions and their behavior to me and outwardly as something based on stage lies. It's just a very painful existence when everyone else gets to participate in society and I can't because of all the torture that I have to go through with all the stage lies and energy attacks that are misunderstood, and they try to misportray as my diet when it's not my diet. I'm getting fried from energy attacks. Accept it. My feet, my ankles, my legs, and my gut area are all being fried by energy attacks. Since 2013, it's been ongoing. This year is by far the worst. So they're dialing in their torture to cause damage to my body. The rotten pieces of shit that are giving the orders to do it. They have absolutely no honor, no integrity, no courage, no bravery, and no character. They absolutely don't deserve any respect. YouTube.com/@WADEALANHEINEMNMN. Signing off for June 28, 2025 at around 4 p.m., a little bit after now. And just to show, it is the Ford Explorer again, and the mileage shows 108,859. 108,859.